just come to learn about some of the candidates for the seats on the board. There's 5 board positions, 2 from Frederick, 2 from Dakota, and 1 from Firestone. My name is Chris Winters. I'm the board president of the Carbon Valley Chamber of Commerce, and it's been our pleasure to facilitate most of the municipal elections candidate forums. And at heart, we really just want you to know about the candidates so you can make an informed decision. So I'm going to go over a couple housekeeping items first. First thing, you receive a mail ballot that you can fill out, and then you can drop off the ballot here at the rec center, or you can also drop it off at a location in Lakewood, which is the company that's facilitating the election. Something else that's really important to know, that you can vote for a candidate for each seat. It's not, if you live in Firestone, you can only vote for the Firestone candidates. You can vote for a candidate for each seat. So of the 5 positions, you can cast 5 votes. Just really important to know. So we're going to go around, and we're going to start on my right and work over to my left. We're going to do candidate introductions. We've got a total of 2 minutes to tell us about yourself and why you think you make a great candidate, or why you make a great okay. Hands up. If you'd like.
Hello, I'm Darryl Brockton, and I'm a candidate for the 2-year term of board of directors of Valley District and representing it on. I've lived in the government for the past 25 years, and I'm presently on the board of directors here at the Carbon Valley Rec Center. In my background, I'm retired from the Postal Service after 37 years. I began as a mail clerk and a mail carrier, and after several years, I got promoted to management, and I was promoted to several post office. As postmaster, and I was at Como, City, Broomfield, a few in between. After retirement, I owned a small construction company for several years. So this background in government service with experience in finance, personal management, organization, safety, and the responsibilities of a board member. I will represent Dakota and all residents in decisions that are discussed and approved by the board of directors. And one of the reasons I would like to be board members would be I would like to oversee what we part of and oversee the construction of a new rec center, expand existing programs, and just be a wonderful place for a family to live with a lot of recreation opportunities.
All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Let's go around the hall.
Hi, I'm Madeline Stippets. I've lived in Dakota almost 10 years. I live in Sharpwater. I work in Dakota. I work at Valley Bank and Trust. I would like to be on the board is I believe that I can bring a lot of background. Let me tell you about my background. I was born in Canada and I've been all over the United States. I was in construction and I lived college. And I worked in many different facilities as far as making roads concerned. So I have to bring it to the table different aspects of living in small communities and large communities, and there is nothing like these 2 cities in Canada. I enjoy working with Valley because they are so supportive of the community. And what I have found is living in a small community like Dakota, being a part of that community is very, very, very rewarding. And I enjoy my time at the bank and the time I spend in my community. Our bank supports community events, and that's something that I truly look forward to.
Let's give her a round of applause.
Hi, my name is Cody Childers. I'm running for the 4-year term for Como. I've been right in the district almost 7 years. Living in Como for 3 years now, sorry. The reason for my candidacy is my personal way to invest back in the community.
and to help with decisions that have a very long-lasting effect. My current background, I work for Jackson Lafayette, mines mechanic. Apart from that, almost 15 years of law enforcement. I also own my own business in my house. I'm a gun dealer, firearms license, most internet stuff. I'm also a state certified firearms instructor. So through my business, I provide services. So my experience in the federal government, county government, city governments, and regulations, they have to be always multi cost. That's one of my assets to the work. Apart from the bio, I have 5 kids. So we're here a lot. I'm here a lot. I work out 5 days a week. My wife says I should, I don't think so. Other than that, I have firsthand experience with programs, services, and offerings. I also have firsthand experience as a father with the programs, services, and offerings. That's better.
Hi, well, my name is David Whelan, and you can start running for the 4-year seat here in Firestone. So I've lived in Firestone for about 4 years now, or excuse me, 6 years. And my wife's been here since 2000. So we have 3 kids, and I've come here a lot as well, take advantage of the swimming pool and everything else. So as you can see in my bio here, being able to serve the communities where I live at is something that's very important to me. And with my profession, one of my tasks was to be sort of a road warrior, if you will, and I would be traveling out and meeting with employees in different companies in different states. So I didn't really have a lot of time to dedicate to some more activities such as this. But now my responsibilities at work allow me to stay here in state. I don't have to be traveling as much, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to be able to serve this community. As I do with the state of Colorado, the National Guard here as a military police soldier. So that's what I currently do, and still another 6 years, it'll be 12 total by the time I'm finished with my current contract. But overall, I feel that it has a lot of possibilities and a lot of strengths. And one of the things that I'm always focused on is being able to empower people through communication and letting them make decisions with the information that we provide to you. So in the past, I know there's been issues with communication coming out about maybe different things going on with the district, different proposals, but I hope to be able to change that along with all the other fellow board members and really incorporate all of the both towns and the city in helping to come to some decisions that can help all of us together as members of our district. And I know that any decision I help facilitate or make is not only going to affect myself and my family, but you all as well. So I take it as a very, very important responsibility and look forward to serving if I'm elected. Thanks.
So Anita's actually at work. She's working until after 7 o'clock, I think Ross said, so she apologizes for not being here. She might be able to sneak in, but I wanted to read you her bio just so you can be informed about her. Anita Adler has been married to husband Steve Adler for 13 years, has 7 children and 3 grandsons. 6 of their 7 children are adopted. Anita and her family are Lutheran and attend church regularly. Her husband is a disabled Navy veteran and stays at home with the kids. Anita graduated from Northern Arizona University with a bachelor's degree in dental hygiene and a minor in biology. She came to Colorado in December of 2015 to work for Clinic Family Health Services. Anita fell in love with Firestone and decided she wanted to work in the community she lives in, and is now employed at Firestone Dental Care serving communities' oral health needs. Anita is running for the Firestone seat. As previously mentioned, Anita believes in being involved in the community where she lives as possible. As a new member of the CVPRD community, she would bring diversity from other places. Anita was president of her class in college and the community outreach liaison for the dental group as well. She started and operated Angels of NAU to provide fundraising and clothing drives for foster children. Anita is an active advocate for awareness of youth children. Anita served on the board of directors for the Bremer Park Pop Warner Youth Sports and was also a equipment manager and cheerleading coach. So that's about Anita, and she's running for the Firestone seat. And move to Tracy.
My name is Tracy Price. I am running for the 2-year Frederick position. I live in Frederick with my husband, Rhett. We have 3 small children. They're 4, 3, and 18 months. Prior to living in Frederick, we resided in Firestone. So we keep kind of moving new every 2 when, as I had to was that. So I currently own a small business in marketing, and I help other small businesses grow their online potential and marketing efforts. My husband owns an appraisal company as well. So I have both jobs, I suppose. I get to stay home with my children sometimes and work sometimes as well. I am running for this position as an annual member of the Rec Center. I have always been an admirer of all of the activities that it offers to my children and family, and I appreciate many of the struggles that the board has been through. I have a nonprofit background where I've helped several nonprofits with capital campaigns or working their way through as many fundraising efforts and volunteer issues that they could possibly have. I feel like that's a great background for me to be able to work with the Rec Center as speaking with a lot of the previous board members and staff as well as residents. I know we have quite a few challenges and we do need to engage with the community and help the community engage with us. So I hope that my marketing background as well as my nonprofit management will help to be able to bring advocacy to this position. I know that not only is this a seat on the board, but it's someone who needs to be a voice for the neighbors, your friends, family, and everyone in the community, and I really appreciate that opportunity.
And then Dennis also was going to be tentative from you, so he might be here a little bit later, but I wanted to read his bio. Dennis Stark is an innovative problem solver with an exemplary history of public service. His leadership skills have demonstrated an outstanding ability to plan strategically, formulate and implement policy, and manage within budgetary guidelines, resulting in successful solutions in adverse situations. Stark has spent most of his previous professional career in the Denver-Boulder area and is aware of the nuances and intricacies of recreational possibilities in the Weld County area. Dennis has a master's degree in public administration, BS degree in management, and an associate's degree in police science. His experience includes county management, Lyon County city management, City of Charlotte, City of Litchfield, and he has extensive background in law enforcement, social services, and state level programs. Dennis was the past chair of the State of Nevada Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Board. Dennis has a deep fundamental understanding of recreational development, downtown connectivity, and building cooperative public and private partnerships. He has a propensity for looking towards the future, building a strong community, and working for the sustainability of our environment and resources. Most of all, his philosophy is providing the best service to citizens, organizations, and elected officials in relation to the tax dollars garnered. Dennis believes in volunteerism, leading by example, and participating in an integral community setting, along with providing options for healthy lifestyles. Dennis is an ideal fit for the Carbon Valley Park and Recreation District and will get the job done through innovation, involvement, and perseverance. So that's it. And then we're going to move on to Rusty.
Rusty O'Neill. I've lived in the district for over 18 years. Frederick, Firestone, and Tacoma. We've lived in all of them. I also run a business in Frederick, doing home repair. I interact daily with people within the district. My business mainly focuses on the Frederick, Firestone, Tacoma area. I was a manager with Home Depot for 8 years. Learned a lot about dealing with people, being a manager in a big retail store. The key things that I think I can do for the district is look at the district as a whole. With the background I've had, I remember when this rec center was was built, the process that it went through. I remember I was part of Firestone, when Firestone recruited the library to move over to that area. Was there with Dakota and got the post office. That background in the district is really key to knowing what growth is going to happen in the future. And if I'm elected, I will do everything that I can to make sure that the district can flourish and grow. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Todd Schoenleber. As you can see, I'm running for the Frederick 4-year term. My family and I have been here only 6 months. We're new to the area, we're new to the state. But I'm running the board for, we'll go back there to make a noise. I thought it was a great way to get involved in the community, great way to have good influence for my daughter's future. And because of the growth of this area, growth equals need, and this area is growing like crazy. A lot of young families moving in, and this park district does a great job from what I've seen in the short time here, and I want to continue to make sure it does that. As far as my background goes, I was a business development executive with BNY Mellon for a while. So I've done the 9-to-5 suit and tie long enough for me. I was a hotel manager as well, so I'm very familiar with dealing with people on a regular basis. But more importantly, I think I was a college football coach and personal trainer. And those worlds really relate well to the people side of this. A park district run like any other business, but there's a lot more people involved than a lot of 9-to-5 places have. And I think that brings, what I have brings a lot to that and help a lot with that. Really, that's all I have about me, nice and sweet and short.
Thank you very much.
If you don't mind, I'm going to stay on the city most of the day. My name is Glenn Levanchi. I am running for the re-election. Been on the board the last 2 years. I'm running for the 4-year seat in Frederick. My wife and I moved here in 2000. We bought a home right here in town. And both of us now are retired. She worked at McKesson and I retired as a sheet metal worker, working for U.S. Engineering out of Loveland, Colorado. Been in the construction business most of my life. Before moving to Colorado, my wife and I lived in Central America for 7 years. We were involved with taking medical and dental teams into the backcountry there to help people with their physical needs. I was involved in getting permits from the government for people to come in, doctors and nurses and pharmacists to come in. We moved to Colorado. We were watching when we lived in Central America, we watched the 3 Denver stations on pirated cable in the capital. And we thought Colorado looked like a great place, so we moved out here and we came back to the States in 1998. And in 2000, as I said, we moved here into the Frederick area. The rec district is a wonderful district here. Before we moved here, we had never lived in an area where we had a rec district like this. So it's a wonderful thing. My wife and I take advantage of it. We come up here and she's involved in water aerobics. I like to swim laps in the pool. Our grandkids have been involved in different baseball programs and things here over the last number of years. So having been on the board for the last 2 years, I think things are headed in a good direction, and I'd like to see the board move forward as the community grows. Thank you.
Thanks so much. So we've got 3 prepared questions that were sent out to all the candidates that we're going to go through. It's going to change from a 2-minute time limit to a 1-minute time limit right now, and you'll get a 30-second warning and a 10-second warning. The 10-second warning is kind of your indication to wrap up your sentence. If you go over, we promise there's no gong. Unless you really go over, then there might be a gong. So we've got 3 prepared questions, and then after that, we're gonna take some open questions from the audience. So if you haven't had a chance to fill out your question on a piece of paper, raise your hand and we'll get you one. You can fill it out and submit it. And then we're gonna pick from those, eliminate ones that have already been asked in case there's duplication, and then we'll ask as many as we can get through in our allotted time. So we're gonna start on my right again. Question number 1. How have you and or your family engaged with CVPRD? What programs, activities, events have you participated in?
I've been a member of the seniors since 2007. I've had a great experience on day trips and extended trips that are sponsored by the seniors. And I've served on several senior committees regarding finances, new programs offered by the district, and consideration of new activities requested by seniors. I participated in the Colorado Senior Games, which required considerable time on the basketball court, which was a good experience. And I might add, I won a few medals. Thanks.
Thank you.
Same question?
Yeah, same question.
Okay.
If you want me to repeat it, just let me know.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
My husband and I have used the facility ourselves. Tom and I both went to school. We use a lot of school. I have 2 baby nieces that I live with my mom. They love swimming. Tom works out, and I swim, and I have participated in a couple of the races that the Continental Next Week has had in the past, the BMX races. And so I think this facility is great. I don't know how much better a facility would be. I lived across the street from the one in Westminster, and this one beats it hands down.
Okay. I volunteered assist coach with my
Can you
wife.
speak up? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I volunteered assist coach with my wife, who's the gymnastics coach for the competitive boys team. I volunteer my time to try to help her and the boys with muscle building so they can perform better. My family utilizes the pool as always. Always fun. We use kids a lot. Like I said, 5 kids. Have to. My wife uses the cardio. I use the weight room. We use it together. My wife and I are currently enjoying co-ed softball team with 9 clips. But other than that, we actually use the BMX tracks with my older stepdaughters during all that program as
well. So my family and I, we come down, use the pool as well since we are on theme. But we also have a family membership as well to be able to utilize, save up and do that finally. We've been to the 4th of July festivals that we put on, the food and flip out of the park. Looking to do some 5Ks this year that are coming up as well. And so really been involved with that. My wife has used the facilities longer than I have since she's lived here longer. We were at the Easter egg hunt, here at the trail. So that was really fun and very well run and organized. So I was expecting chaos, but it was not chaos. So very appreciative for what went into that. And so that's how we're involved with it.
So my family and I have been annual members of the rec district since 2009, intermittently. I enjoy a really fun Zumba class a few times a week at the rec center. My husband tries to sneak in a workout as often as he can. And our 3 children, they enjoy the Kids Zone as well. They're currently enrolled in gymnastics. They've been to sports camps, anything that they can get us to sign them up for. We are usually very supportive of that. We also try to support any kind of community events that are available to us. My husband just recently took our daughters to the daddy-daughter dance. We were at the egg hunt as well, and certainly appreciate any opportunity to be involved in those community events as well.
We have a 15-year-old and a 6-year-old, or sorry, 16-year-old and a 6-year-old. We went through all the softball, soccer, swim lessons, and kids night out with our 16-year-old, and we're just starting it all over again now with our 6-year-old to get all of those activities. We try to participate in the fun, like the spaghetti fundraiser that was last weekend, as well as the Easter egg hunt, and those type of activities that the district does a great job on providing.
Obviously, like I mentioned before, we've been in that long, but we've been plugged in since day one. My wife and I both work out at the fitness center, the cardio room, swimming 6 days a week, some weeks 5. She does classes in the morning, the cycling class, the full body class. I'm also doing softball and basketball. Our daughter does gymnastics, she does ballet, she does soccer, she does swimming, and tennis. A little much married. She loves that stuff. And we've done the events as well. We straight hunt and father-daughter games, which were a lot of fun. So we live down the street. We bought a new house that's literally a quarter mile down the street. We're here every day, normally twice a day. So very active.
My wife and I retired 4 years ago, and so we didn't really take advantage of anything here. For that, I guess we getting up too early and staying on too long during the day. But after we retired, we both joined as annual members here, and she's involved in the water fitness program, and I swim laps, and we have also used the cardio room down there. So that's how we've taken advantage of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, our second very question, and we're going to start from this side and then work back. As a special district, CVPRD relies heavily on property taxes for funding. What is your stance on possible tax increases to improve the programs, operations, and facilities the district provides for the community?
Okay, to answer that question, I think you really have to answer the following question after that first. Where is the district going in the next 5 to 10 years? And if the district is going to grow like it's projected, you're going to have some other facilities, some other things. Those things cost money. What we have to do is find out, by surveying the community, exactly what the people who live in the district want. And then we need to determine what it will cost to give them the programs and the facilities that they want. And then it will be up to the people in the district to decide whether they want to raise their property taxes if necessary to get new facilities, to have those new programs.
The answer to that question could be yes 1 year and no the next as far as the taxes, just based on the growth of the area and the demographics that go with it, average income, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not going to say yes or no to that. But I will say that the money that does come in from taxes, we just need to make smart choices with it. It's not about how much we're bringing in, but how well we're using that money. That's all that really matters. And that we're being forward with the community about how that's being spent. That can be very confusing, and to be straightforward and make it very clear how we're spending money. I think those two things matter more important than how much we're bringing in.
Tax increases are always a possibility for expansion. But any expansion needs to be responsible. There needs to be a clear-cut plan. We need to do research to make sure that we're not spending more money than is needed to fulfill the needs of the district. Also, we need to know where it is going dollar by dollar. Any large growth needs to be laid out clearly with a very tight budget, and not a estimate of spending.
I would say that I am cautiously supportive of a tax increase. I'm supportive because I know that the funds are needed. I'm supportive because as a member of the rec center, I see the growing amount of folks who come in the doors every day. And I've purposely made it a point to look into things that are available to our community, like looking into the past budgets, and I've been enlightened by staff and by board members on where those funds have been allocated. And I can tell you that the current rec center is operating about as close to a nonprofit as you can get. So I suppose that I would say that in recent weeks, I've found that every dollar is being accounted for, and at the end of the day, there are no dollars left. So at this time, I would say I'm cautiously supportive of that, keeping in mind that I would be an advocate for my community first and foremost, but certainly a supporter of growth.
So a couple of things. First of all, one, I don't feel it'd be responsible to make a decision that I wouldn't be comfortable following myself. So if it did come to an issue of wanting to raise some taxes, then I would have to be comfortable doing that as well before I propose it to the community members as well. Secondly, if you look at the master plan for the CVPRD, they want to focus more on outside sources of funding such as grants, for example, before they even want to look at trying to raise property taxes in order to help the growth. Now, along with that, and looking at taxes, as has been mentioned before, we need to be able to see the cost benefit of that. So really, what are we getting? What's the value of raising property taxes if we were to propose that to you as the residents of the district? And so ultimately, it's up to us as board members to provide you with that communication, say, here's why we're going this route, here's all the other options we've looked at. Now it's up to you. If you feel like you want to increase those taxes to be able to help increase also the value of homes and the surrounding properties as well because of the system we provide, then that'll be up to you. If not, then it's back to the drawing board. It's that simple.
First of all, I like that question. It's too big. My personal stance is it's dependent, like Lynn said, it's dependent on what other questions I would raise, what programs, stuff like that. Any improvements, what would be what the community, what's the community want? Bring that to the board. That's what my stance would be solidified. Like I said before, some of the special teams I was in charge of. In law enforcement, I was in charge of the budget. I'm very frugal for my own money. Tax money, I'm even more frugal, because it's not mine. That's where we get some decision on. This community want, do what's the best for the community and itself.
I do believe that raising taxes, if the need is there, should be done. I do believe that you need to explore all other alternatives. I know that since 2000, this area has grown by over 234%. They anticipate another 5% growth this next year, mainly in our senior division. This facility offers great programs for children, adults, and a very active senior center. I believe that you need to be looking at a profit and loss statement and analyzing that effectively to see where you're putting your dollars and how they're paying for themselves and how they're paying for the future. And with that said, I think yes to taxes, but that would be a last resort. We want to look at all the other alternatives.
I would support a reasonable mill levy increase to continue improving and expanding the operations that we presently have in effect. As the population continues to increase, the need for a new recreation center will be needed. This will be necessary to meet the needs of the residents, expecting recreational opportunities that they want and expect. The district will be the established budget, which is developed each calendar year by the board of directors and the district staff. In my opinion, with the continuing revenue increase, the present mill levy, a large mill levy increase will not be necessary. The district must remain conservative on expenses and continue to expand present programs and add additional programs.
Thank you. All right, and our third and final prepared question, we're starting out with you, Glenn. How should the board of directors prepare for the impending growth of the district? E.g., per the CVPRD 2015 master plan, the population is projected to grow by roughly 5% per year, which I think everybody's alluded to. Is there anything you'd like to add, and then what your statements are?
In order to prepare for the growth we know is coming, we need to determine in which directions the rec district is going to grow. As new subdivisions are added on, we just keep getting larger and larger, and all of us take advantage of the facilities here. We know that it's beginning to get squeezed. And so we're going to have to do something. So we have to determine how is the district growing? To the east, west, south, north, however. We need to find out from the community by doing regular surveys with them exactly what are the programs they want. What do they want? What do the people want? And then the question too, we have to put to them is, do they want to pay for, how do they want to pay for it? Are they willing for a tax increase to get some of the things they want? Do we need to stick with things that won't require a tax increase? So we've got to look constantly at the community, talking to them, what do they want? What do the people want? It's not what the board wants, it's not what the organization wants, it's what do the people want.
I couldn't agree more than Glenn about knowing the demographics, not just geographically, but who's coming in. So we look to large segments coming in are seniors and young families. Those are two very different needs within the park district. So understanding that growth and those needs is key first and foremost. And setting out plans that are conservative in dollar, but aggressive in need. We need to have things set that are not going to stretch us based on this much more coming in financially, but knowing the need as far as the community. That's key. Honestly, I think that if we are going to poll and survey people in the community, that's probably the best way to get a hold of what their needs are. Because if you simply say, come in and drop information in our little information box, people just don't do it. So we need to make sure we get out there to the community and ask them these questions.
I feel that the rec district needs to have its own vision. It needs to work well with each of the towns within the district, but it needs to drive its own future and not be over influenced by one town or another. The master plan focuses on the Colorado Boulevard corridor. That is the key corridor to the town. So we need to look at any future expansion being somewhere along the Colorado Boulevard. Growth is happening. However, I've been here long enough to know that we're in a boom right now, but there's a good possibility a couple years down the road, these 2, 3, even 5,000 homes in the district can sit there empty for 10, 15 years and not have been completed. Thank you.
Thank you. Tracy.
How I feel like I would work with the board of directors and the Parks Department is to really encourage advocacy on this board and to encourage advocacy of the members of this district. I think it's important for our community to understand where we've come from, the obstacles we've overcome, where we are right now, where we're sitting budget-wise, where we're sitting operationally, and where we want to go, a clear vision for that for people. I think most anyone would support growth if they knew all the facts and they knew all the obstacles we've overcome so far. I would imagine they would certainly be on our side for growth if they knew and felt confident in our level to secure that for them as well. I do, most importantly, think we need to work on something like an annual plan. Nonprofit background, again, that's something that would encourage the public to read that. That's tough on a board side where you certainly want public involvement, but we need to find a way for them to want to communicate with us. We want to make sure we have a transparency and an open door policy where our public is able to come to us, let them know what they would like to have before we set in place a possible tax increase or any kind of growth.
So with this question, I think this is really where the intergovernment agreements come into play that the board or the district, I should say, has with the towns and the city. And being able to set reasonable expectations from those agreements as far as how each of the communities that we represent can support us in the decisions that we make as we plan for this growth. So part of that's going to include ensuring that any new homes and areas are annexed into the district already, working to get those that aren't already in the district, a part of the district as well. It may be a long road and tough road ahead, but at least it's opening up some conversation dialogue about that, if that can occur. And the reason why that's so important is because our own communities can help us within the creation of expansion that we're looking at. So we don't have to rely on tax like we're talking about. We can utilize other resources, other sales taxes and things like that that can help pay for these different items. So I think going forward, we need to have a very well established plan with each of the towns and the city.
Okay, in my career, I was a community service police officer, and you're about to see some obscurity that I have implemented in the neighborhoods. To help with growth and community growth, having the ebbs and flows, just like life. I would like either the survey, subcommittee or the committee itself, devise a survey of security, give it to residents. Who sees people who want to live here or are going to like here? Have them fill the survey out. See what they think, see what they want, see what they need. And also that subcommittee, have a look around the neighboring rec centers and then further rec centers, big metro areas. Compare what we have, compare prices, facilities prices, programs, and assets. That's what I can see to prepare for growth.
I agree with Glenn. I think our growth potential, from what I'm seeing from my world, is truly in the younger generation looking in and our seniors. And I think we need to look at what we can do to benefit them. I believe that getting buy-in and understanding and communication with the residents of all of the towns, the two towns in the city, is a priority. If we don't understand what they want or what they need, we can't successfully budget or plan for anything. So I think looking at what our community needs individually and as a group is a priority.
The board of directors and executive director must develop a plan to build or expand the facilities to provide additional sports and fitness programs needed for the population growth. And that 5% should be someplace between 1,200 and 2,000 people per year for the coming years. The 5-year plan must include a bond issue with a reasonable mill levy increase. The board of directors and executive director must develop a detailed plan concerning locations with the Tri-County City government with involvement from the very beginning. The plan must include the right size of building required to meet the expected population growth. All plans must be available for review by the public. The townhouse type meetings held prior to the building selection. I also believe a committee must be established for site selection and right size of the building with members of the board and members from each Tri-County City government to ensure the public has knowledge of all procedures and decisions concerning the new rec center.
Thank you very much. That concludes our prepared questions. Do we have questions we can draw from them? So since many of you have had time to prepare, we're going to make it a little more equitable. We're going to rotate through as we ask the questions, just because if you're at the end of the line, you get a lot more time to think about your answer. So we're going to start with you, Madeline, since both of you have had this start, and then we'll go through, you'll finish up, and then go to you first next time. Just go through, okay? So, We've got 4 questions. I think we should be able to get to all of them. Given the concerns voiced by residents regarding a lack of clear communication, what steps do you think can be made to improve communication with residents of the district?
Would you read that again? Sure. Just the last part. Oh, go ahead.
What steps do you think can be made to improve communication with residents of the district?
I think by being available, and that means everybody who's part of the district, at different times and places, so that the community, when they're stopping by, they can ask any questions that they need answered. We won't always have the answers. We will have to maybe research them, get back to them, but get their input. I think that would be so fun. I think, you know, you can do telephone solicitations, you can do meetings at different businesses. I think our businesses here in this area are very supportive of the community and have no problem with you to set up some type of a booth or questionnaire place so that people can communicate with us and help guide us. You know, I don't want to be the one making decisions for all of these communities. I want them to make their voices known, heard, and then we can discuss it and see how we can financially do that for them. So again, whether it's setting up places to meet or telephone solicitations or mailings, in my experience, mailings have not been that great. You don't get a lot of great responses from that. I think it's the one-on-one that's more important. And so that's what I would do.
And my review is,
Just clear communication. Just, okay. Communication is two-way. You know, the key word for government is transparency. Transparency are the chief. This open forum, on the public, it's on the web, apparently. That's one way to help keep communication open. It's one-sided for people on the computer. Obscure, I'm very obscure. The online blog deals, live Q&As, all meetings have somebody off to the side of the computer. Somebody can say, I have a question. It's going to be screened for readability. Answer the question. It takes effort on the part of the board for the communication to be had, kept, and fostered. You got a question, ask me. Now make sure I have time to get my answer. Other than that, if I don't have an answer, hey, I don't know right now. I will find out, talk about it, I'll get back to you myself. Okay, that's just the way it is.
1 minute.
So my background is in communication, that's why I have my degree, and that's what I do for work, and I've always done. So one of the things I've been thinking about, because at work I do a lot of live webcasts and recordings. So I'd like to explore the possibility of potentially being able to set up a type of system where for those members that don't have the time maybe to attend board meetings and things like that because of kids, like in general things that are going on, they can actually dial in or watch the actual board meeting live in session. They can still submit questions through those through that media, which would allow them to be involved involved as well. I'd like to also explore the idea of creating citizen committees, if you will, where if we have an issue that we're trying to decide as a board, can we get some volunteer members from all the communities to form a committee to go out and explore these different items that we're talking about and then come back and report to us. So I think accountability is key. If there's no accountability, then you're never going to have great communication because you can say, well, I never said that, or what are you talking about? So being accountable for the things that we do say, being very open and honest, and once again, really empowering you through that communication. Here's what we have, this is what we know, and then you feel comfortable making a decision with whatever we propose to in the future.
Do you mind if we?
Sure.
I apologize.
Given the concerns voiced by residents regarding a lack of clear communication, What steps do you think can be made to improve communication with residents of the district?
So I think some steps that could be made, first and foremost, is that open door policy. I know they currently have that. I know that's something that the community is welcome to any and all information that the board is welcome to. And as you know, this meeting was a public meeting, and several of their, or most of their meetings are all public meetings as well. So they are open to the public currently, and I know from my nonprofit experience, it's very expensive to get surveys done and individual questionnaires and mailers and all those sorts of things. So I would agree with Madeline that some face-to-face is certainly important to our community to hear any and all concerns or comments that anyone would have. But as a board member, I think advocacy for what we would like to see for this community, what our community members would like to see, is certainly something we could do through social media. I know Abby and Heather are currently doing that through Nextdoor, which I know a lot of our neighbors appreciate seeing. There's several communication avenues, but the most important thing is getting the community to actually pick up their phone or their newspaper or all those items and be able to read that information. In order to do that, we need to provide them with the information they actually want to hear. So, and unfortunately, the only way to find that out is through some trial and error. And also to give them, the members that are part of this rec district, some time to come to us. So I certainly think it will take a little bit of time, and the annual report would certainly help as well. I do think that so far, in my personal opinion, the communication is certainly a two-way street. I would agree. We need to let our communities know the importance for them to have a voice as well. We can't speak on their behalf unless they speak to us.
Speaking to Roger and other members of the board, that's always the hardest thing, getting people to show up for board meetings. And communication boils down to many different factors. Seniors are more used to newsletters and direct mailings and that type of thing. However, a large majority of them would also be hit with social media. The Facebook page that the district does is great on getting out of events and Easter egg hunts and that, but board meetings are never on there. The agenda is never published through social media. The website is iffy at best, we could add a notification sign up through the website to sign in to get notified of the agendas, certain things that the board is directing. The district does a great job of getting the word out on the events that it's running. However, it needs to work a little bit more on getting the actual planning out there to the public.
I think Mr. O'Neill looked at my notes. I couldn't agree more about social media. The website is lacking at best. Social media, the Facebook page, it's all great, but there needs to be a lot of content on there. It needs to be updated more often. I think that is a huge avenue that's not being tapped into at all. That's big. Second, everyone's talking about being open up to the budget, can agree more, the open door policy, that's all good, but people need to be made aware of all that stuff. They're not going to come and ask about it. They're going to come and ask about it, not the people we need to be reaching out to begin with. They're going to tell us. So why not have a Park District Day once a year where they come in, we have giveaways, whatever it is, maybe not giveaways, but everybody can come in and get information. All of our employees are there to explain how the booklet works, to explain how the Senior Citizen Center works, to explain how the trips work, to explain what's going on with the sports, to explain how the payment system works, et cetera, et cetera. If we have maybe a day like that, cost for that would be minimal, and people would definitely show up if we had that. That would be informal. If you want questions answered, come to Rec Center on this day. everybody's here to answer your questions. I think that's a great idea. Finally, the new homes being built. We moved in, and we are Park District people, to say the least, my wife and I, and we got nothing in the mail. And I was actually a little surprised about that. We have all these new homes being built, right? So everybody's talking about one of the three major questions, the crazy growth going on in this area. Why don't we have a simple mailer or something to reach out to those people and go, hey, we're here, this is who we are, this is what we do, come get to know us. I don't know why that's not being done. I think it's a great thing for us to explore.
I agree, it's, in the age we live in right now, it is difficult to get people to respond to surveys, things like that. I think we have to take a multiple approach to it. There's a lot of good ideas. One of them that hasn't been mentioned is we have two local papers that are small, just service the area around here. A lot of people get those, whatever I get, a lot of people read through them. I think we can, as a rec district, we can take advantage of some of those things to do surveys through also. One of the things I do personally as a board member, I walk my dog every day. I'm retired, I walk my dog, I meet people all the time. My daughter-in-law says I strike a conversation with the telephone all the time. So I try to meet people all the time and talk to them. And the people in my neighborhood and around Frederick, I try to ask them, questions about the district. Do you use it? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? So I think we have to take a multiple approach to all of it. We have to be, as board members, we have to be engaging the community around us all the time.
Okay, sorry, next question. We're sorry, you good? Chris. Oh, gosh. I said this and I totally blew it.
One of the things we need to do is be transparent in all our board meetings. And all the board members will be transparent, but we action with the public. And our social media should expand because there is quite a lagging.
Thank you. Sorry again. It's good. All right. So now our next question, which makes everything good. And I'm not going to create that. If up to you, what would you add or improve on the recreation center with a grant of $10,000?
$10,000. I can do that. I'm frugal. Business-wise, $10,000 is not that much. Personally, I have a lot of friends who are Spartan participants across the years. All that crazy things I keep doing. They ask, do they live around here? How come you guys not do anything? So our CrossFit area is pretty cheap. Use tractor tires for bars, monkey bars. But basically, it's adult and stuff. It's cheap. My son's 15. I can get something off the wall. Yeah, that would probably be $5,000. The safety tech it's cheap. It's something cheap about it. So $10,000 across the area, a little off the wall with the kids.
I like those ideas as well. With $10,000, I know that there have been folks that have talked about expanding some of the actual group exercising rooms. So maybe looking at, I don't know, they're probably about maybe more than 10,000, but just a little bit of expansion there, maybe adding some new materials that can be used within those exercise areas. Also looking at what can we do with the senior center as well. Is there some expansion that's available there to so that those that take use of that facility can really get engaged, because your recreation isn't just about physical activity; it's also about the mental activity as well, and keeping your mind always active. So if there can be different facilities that can engage the mind as well as the body, then I think that'd be a good use of that $10,000. Along with what everyone else I'm sure is going to say. So,
Thank you. So I personally, if the rec center was gifted $10,000, I would like to say that I would appreciate going to youth programs or senior programs, something that our district is supposed to be what it's all about. Although I would fancy myself to be a little bit more conservative, as I have taken the time to look into the master plan, taking a look at the budget, I see that there are a lot of things that should be repaired here just to keep on an operating basis. I know that staff is usually your largest expense in a company or a nonprofit, and so I would like to be able to use that money to encourage staff to be employees of the rec center, because I want that money to stay in our district. I want these folks to work here and live here and spend their money here, and while providing opportunities for our youth and for our seniors to enjoy and encourage them to play, as one of the mission states. However, looking at that budget, I do know that at one time when the district brought up 5A, one of the things that they talked about was this building needs repair to broilers and things that are important that may not look aesthetically pleasing or something you want to spend your money on. At some point it will be a necessity. So I would waffle and certainly would love to spend the funds on those programs, but the expenses that are needed would be in the back of my mind as well.
This one's a tough one for me because $10,000 isn't a lot. I've talked to Roger and Ross, and Ross has a great mind for the budget. They never had a extra budget until Ross came in. He's doing a great job with the money, and as the district grows, there's going to be more tax revenue coming in. If it was out and out a $10,000 grant, I would actually try and get matching funds from the municipality and complete a feasibility study on what we truly need for a new facility. Looking through the master plan, it calls out generalities, but looking at other districts as they expand, one of the first things they do is it hurts, but they spend the money for feasibility studies so they know what it's going to cost, where the money's going, and whether or not they need all of the attractions, and the attractions that the new building is going to have is going to be profitable. You can't build a building, or can't build a building that isn't going to sustain itself economically. We can't run a building and have to supplement the day-to-day operations with no letters. And so we truly need to know, with further expansion, what that building needs to be. It could be a smaller building now, but we have land, or we purchase land that we can expand that building as the district grows, and we need additional, or whether or not we, Reunion, I believe is a great example. They have a main rec center, and then they have they're building smaller rec centers on both ends of their district to better serve all of the residents of the district, rather than having districts where people from Dakota have to drive all the way up north. So it's a hard pill to swallow, but I would really look at that road with the feasibility.
I would say the first thing would be cautious on kind of being there again. For lack of a better example, the lottery. People in the lottery, they buy $10 million homes, and they forget there's taxes on that, and electricity on that, and this and that. So when we get that money, we need to remember that whatever that's spent on, if it is spent on something new, there's going to be more electricity used, there's going to be more people needing to be hired, more hours needed for that. So that needs to be first and foremost. I think it goes without saying. The only thing I really say is straightforward is improve what we have. And I think a couple candidates come on this before we expand. I know we're talking about the growth, we need to add buildings, and that's great, we do. But first we need to make sure that this building's up and running, that the social media is up and running, that people know what's going on here, that things are running smoothly, that our employees are taken care of, et cetera, et cetera. That needs to be taken care of long before we talk about bringing anything new in, period. I think that's first and foremost.
$10,000, as a number of people have mentioned, is not very much money. It won't buy very much. And you're right, we have a lot of maintenance things, situations need to be taken care of. We have a need of new boilers. We're looking at least $150,000 right there. How long are they gonna, the ones we have now, how long are they gonna, we're just praying that they're gonna last until we can get something done. When the temperature of the pool goes down, it upsets people, you know, and they're not gonna come swimming in a cold pool. So there's so many things that need to be taken care of. Maybe, Rusty, that your idea of investing in a feasibility study, that might be, you know, something to think about. There's just so many needs, really. My word, $10,000 is not very much money.
Yes, I'd like to repeat that. You know, $10,000 is a small amount that we need to go into a new program or improve something. But like, deferred maintenance is a place we can use that for. Also, improve the soccer fields and and the service program or the survey program, you know, that's necessary on a lot of things, and it does pay for some of that, but it is a small amount. If we want to get into architecture fees or a new building, we're talking $3 million to do that. So the $10,000 have to be on a small scale of improving the present facility or present organization.
Like everyone said, and grand is money. I would agree that we need to fix up whatever that 10 grand would take to fix up the needs of what we have now. We need to be looking at bigger dollars to invest in bigger things, not and thousands. You were just saying about a boiler, I mean, or whatever, that's what we need to invest in. So make this the best it can be for what we have right now, and then continue forward.
So we've got another kind of dreaming question. We're gonna start with you, David. If elected, what is your vision to grow the rec district facilities in Firestone or Dacono to accommodate the growth in Carbon Valley?
So a lot of people talk about, you know, is the issue of 5A going to be revisited? And I'd like to put in a different perspective that no, we're not going to revisit 5A because 5A in and of itself is very polarizing. But I would like to revisit the idea of, you know, providing that we take care of the current facilities we were just talking about. How can we expand? So when we look at on the master plan and we look at some of the potential areas for this anticipated growth by 2019, what are some of the areas that we can maybe place additional parks or facilities in so that everyone can take advantage of the district and all the things that we have to offer? So my vision going forward would be, as we talked about very collectively, finding out exactly what the different needs of our towns are, making sure that we're not making it a burden to have fun, right? By long drives, for example, with Senate that's way out, and also making it worthwhile that people want to come here. So for those that are moving in, for those individuals or organizations that want to utilize our facilities for perhaps their teams for events. Because believe it or not, there is money to be made by renting out facilities that we can potentially build as a way of generating that revenue. So if we can make those attractive as well, and say to surrounding communities that aren't just part of the district, hey, we've got these facilities that can accommodate the different events and things that you want to do. Come on down and utilize them. And I think that would help out with our expansion as well. So my vision would be able to once again look at what each of the communities need, look at our IGAs and set those reasonable expectations once again with them, and then come together and formulate those plans for growth.
I suppose I will replicate that in theory. I think it would be appreciative that if all three of our communities had a different point of view. I think that's what makes it exciting. I think that's what makes us a unique district as we are currently. I think there's a challenge in that. I know that having a vision for myself, all I can think of is advocacy. I think the most important thing is for people to understand what the rec center or what the rec district would do for your family, and all of the opportunities it would entail for you in the future. I'm hoping that that gets people excited, gets more people in the chairs, gets more people to open their mail, get more people to be a part of your Facebook page and things like that, so you can build buildings and grow outward rather than inward. I know, I feel currently that we really need to consider the items that would give us a return on investment. As mentioned before, in my nonprofit background, I've met a lot of wonderful dreamers in my life, and it all sounds great, but how do you pay for it? And how do you maintain it? And how do you remember when you're building, a $40 million building, or whether you're building a $10 million building, what will it cost the people to run it every day? How much money will it make you every day? And you have to weigh the option of most of the time, your public will tell you they want things to be a part of that rec center, but unfortunately you'll lose money on. So as long as we understand that and can combat that with other avenues or other activities that make the district some money as well, so we can stay afloat and keep this building running, build new buildings. But to wrap that up, I suppose my greatest vision is the advocacy component. I want people to enjoy this rec center as much as I do. I want people to build their homes here and be excited about this community and all three communities, and I want them to know that they have, all three of them have one place to go for every need that they have.
5A, you said you pointed to 5A very, very nicely. 5A was a plan that I feel came to the district a little haphazard. I would caution, however, looking for outsiders for revenue. We're building a facility we should be building for the residents of the district. Erie has a rec center. Fort Lupton is growing very quickly. They're going to be working on a rec center. Mead at one point in time will be looking at some type of recreation facility of their own. And unfortunately, my 16-year-old, he was born right around the time that this building here was built. You know what? It's old. You don't want to come here. So it's one of those things that, whoever has the newest and grandest attraction is where people are going to go. So you really need to look at building what the district needs and not trying to pull in outside business, because, Longmont, they will have an ice cream. It's probably 5-6 years down the road, but they're doing it right. They're going through the proper procedures. They're budgeting for it. Broomfield, Northland, ice right now is something that everybody's really looking at. So you need to look at what this district within itself will sustain, and any growth I think should be looked at for internally, and that's the problem with just creating a plan and not having true accurate numbers. I think Longmont, they spent maybe $8,000 on the feasibility study. It doesn't have any massive architecture to it, but their basic feasibility study that they originally came out with. You know, it's appealed that if you are going to grow, you're going to need to spend some money up front to know how to grow responsibly, and not just with opinions and surveys, and you need to make sure that you can grow responsibly.
For me, it's two simple things. One, I do think, well, only a small part, I think we do need to make sure, as we've all alluded to several times, that we reach out to the community and do a better job of that. We can't grow by ourselves, we can only grow with that. Second, as somebody who's so new to this area, I just plan on being involved. I mean, I know it sounds like a simple answer, but I'm not planning on, I will not be missing any board meetings. I will not sit in the back and not ask questions. I will be actively a part of this. There's a lot of people here that have been in this board for a while. I plan on asking them a lot of questions, learning from them, and bringing new perspective as well. I want to see what they have to say and learn from them because they know, and then bring to them a viewpoint of somebody who hasn't been here for a very long time. I think it's as simple as that, being involved and learning from those that have been here. And I think if I do that, I will be in a very good position to see this area grow and be a part of it.
To refocus, would you read that question? Sure. One more time.
If elected, what is your vision to grow the rec district facilities in Firestone or Dakota to accommodate the growth in Carver Valley?
Thank you. One thing, having served the last 2 years on the board, is one thing I really have learned, probably more than anything else. We have the board, we have one district, park and rec district. We service 3 towns. And there's somewhat polarization between those 3 towns. There has been here for over 100 years because of the way the situation was settled for the coal mines in the early 1900s. And there still is animosity between the different towns. And so serving on the board, you have to think about the district because you're on the district board. But you also have to think about the 3 towns separately. And the answers to a lot of the questions are going to be very difficult because each town doesn't want to see the other town getting preferential treatment. And so it's a difficult thing. To resolve it, I guess the board has to learn to work closer with each of the towns. There has to be, anytime you have 3 separate situations like that, there's going to have to be some give and take amongst the 3 towns. And somehow the board is going to have to learn to deal with those people and try to resolve some of the differences between them. But it's not an easy thing to do.
Well, I think that we have to be very conservative on our approach to a new building and expansion. We also need money to get this thing taken care of as the population grows. And we also have the right size building that we actually construct and how it will build in one place. Although I don't believe satellite offices is the way to go because of efficiency, more personnel needed, more supervisors needed. So, and like Glenn said, there is a lot of difference in ideas between the tri-towns. So we involve the city government, probably a little bit more than we did last time. I think we can achieve that. To be very conservative about their approach.
I also know that I recognize that there is some differences between the tri-towns. I believe that the center should be set up in one way. Maybe it's a situation where it's just swimming and it's all about pools and so on. And then We have another section that we build, because we already have to do. We're growing, we're gonna have to. We don't have room for that, so. I am not against reaching out to other communities to use our facility. And I think that is a way that we can make the profit for our community and our facility. And we're talking about ice rigs. I know that ice rigs are a very valuable thing. I have two nephews who've done nothing but skate. And they come from Colorado Springs and go to Loveland. And the facility in Loveland is nothing. It's nothing. So I think that if we had a good ice skating rink, that it would bring some profitability to our area. I do. I think young people today are into inline skating and ice skating alike. And utilizing those kinds of things, and if we're on the leading edge, the cutting edge of those things, I think we have more to give our community and the communities around, because they don't have it. And they're gonna want to go somewhere. Like I said, these boys of mine travel from Colorado Springs to Loveland for tournaments, and there's nothing in between. So I think if we're looking at those kinds of things, a couple of facilities would be necessary.
If elected, what is your vision to grow the rec district facilities in Firestone or Dakota to accommodate the growth in Carbon Valley?
The rec district should remain objective. Should not fall into the, I'm not a lack of a term, not fall into the urinating contest between cities. That's what it is. I suggested earlier, I know surveys cost money, I know, I'm not interested in developing and going into that. They cost money. Best way to gain that communication from radio conversation is to get out there with the surveys. And please ask questions well. You know, hey, we're paying for the day. Hey, what do you like about usually gain information, solicit information, elicit information. Best way to improve facilities and to obviously in the district towns. Right now, I don't know. Survey, studies not done, surveys aren't done. I don't have an answer right now. I will. Eventually, I will.
All right, so we've got two more questions, and we go through them really quick. We can make it time. Okay. So just try to get your answers within the 1 minute time frame now, so we can get both of them. So, do you feel after the 5-day election to expand the rec district facilities as an elected board member, do you feel the rec district is vital to the Carbon Valley? If yes, why do you feel the rec district is vital? If no, why do you feel it isn't?
I know the rec district is vital to our community. I know that there have been communities within the 3 parts that have been promised rec centers within those towns. I know that we're working at capacity here. I know that the budget is about as maxed out as it can be. I know that it's vital to the public. I see happy faces coming in, and I see happy faces coming out. You see the staff as involved as they possibly can. Customer service is incredibly high. You would not have people working here as well as they're working unless it was vital. With knowing that it's vital, there have been surveys that have been done that as part of their master plans, there have been third parties to come in and do surveys on whether the current facility is vital to us and if we need to expand. The board has been told we are quite behind. So there have been studies that say that we're vital. However, we are working on a time period where we're about to run out of that vitality. So.
It's an interesting concept. As the three towns grow, there's a very good possibility that the district will be too large as a whole, and each of the towns at one point in time will be able to sustain their own recreation facility. You know, it's a tough part when Firestone is out there saying, okay, YMCA, come in and build rights. They go through those negotiations, and the district is left here in the wings. So yes, at this point in time, the district is very necessary. However, going forward, and as the towns continue to expand, I'm not sure if the right district is 100% going to be necessary in 20 to 30 years.
We can't really answer that now, obviously, but again, since you're asking my opinion, I think it is vital. While there are 3 separate towns, square footage, to my knowledge, is growing on these towns. They're not that big. I think that behooves all of them, regardless of growth, to have this in place. As Ms. Tippin pointed out, you know, not that I'm all for throwing in a hockey rink right now, we have the funds for it, but imagine that, for example, if that was here, if we had a state-of-the-line, and I am a hockey guy, but like that, if we had a state-of-the-line hockey rink, people would come from pretty far to play hockey here. And the money that would bring in, and the people that would come to live in this area, it would have a huge effect. If this is a top-of-the-line facility, if this district is run well, and it's run great already, because it's going to grow, people will want to move here. That will be a reason people will want to move here. I think it's vital, absolutely.
The rec district definitely is vital. I meet people every day when I come up here to swim. People are interested. There's people who come. I'll give you one example. I made a new friend today. After I swam my 20 laps, I went over to the hot tub and pool, and I'm sitting in it, and there's a guy there, a young fella, I'd say maybe 30 years old, no more than 35, probably about 30 years old. He lives in Brighton. He said, I come over here all the time, every day, just to get in this hot tub. He said, that one pump there, he goes, if my back is messed up, I can no longer do the kind of work I used to do. Now I'm in a desk job. He said, I come just for that alone. My wife has friends in her class who drive, come from distance. There's people from me who say, oh, I wish we had a rec center like this. And I'm going to say I disagree with you, Rusty, about I don't think the towns are going to build their own rec district. There's too much money involved in it, too many things that are involved, and it's not going to be divided. And the district will be divided.
Yes, rec district is very vital to us here in the Tri-Town area for lots of reasons. Youth programs are necessary and important for our young people. And our fitness program for old people like me. And we do need to expand the terror.
I agree that the rec center here is fabulous. I spent a lot of time at the residential rec center when it used to get started. And I think the potential here is incredible. I think our best growing senior citizens deserve what we can offer here. And the youth program keeps our kids safe. That's what we want. We want our children safe and our seniors taken care of. And yes, I think it's very vital to all.
Okay. Yes, the rec center and district is vital. First-hand knowledge from my boys. Hunter Vaseline, he's here all the time. He's got a rough neck and all the nurse. They're never home. He's here. Yes, it's vital as well. I've made a lot of friends here as well. We are hardest and most used great. I used it for fun. Ice rink, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't remember. If it was up to me, I'd have a shooting range from the instructor. But that liability, I understand, so that won't happen here. It's much. Yes, this place is vital. Yes, our position is vital. It's vital to continue with the communities.
So let me ask you a question. How many of you like driving to Longmont for a lot of things? Okay. A lot of people, I know when I moved up here from Arizona, I wasn't used to the small town life, and I was like, everything's so far away. So just imagine how far you might have to drive to utilize the same kind of facilities that we have here. Would you be willing to do that? Would you be as active as you are today if you didn't have these facilities here? The answer is no, I wouldn't be, then yes. For you personally, the red district is vital. And when you think about it and go back to the advocacy that Tracy talks about a lot, that we are your advocates for this recreation for the different towns that we represent in the district. If not, when we talk about how the towns are right now with each other, you've got two different towns in the city trying to figure out how they want to incorporate recreation into their overall master plans. And I would probably say that that's not going to be a top priority for them, given everything else that the town has to manage. So the district is definitely vital to be advocates for you, or the towns to say, here's what we need, be out there active, physically and mentally engaged.
And then our last question, from Mr. Pierce. How do you propose to get taxpayers to become members?
You can't twist somebody's arm to become a member of the district. I live in a realistic world. If they're not in the unincorporated Weld County, and all of the towns, I believe, I'm not sure about Dakota with their latest interagency agreement, but I know Frederick and Firestone, it's already in place that if an area is annexed into the town, they are automatically part of the district. If I'm out there in Weld County and I'm not being annexed, then you're not going to stand up and say, yes, let me pay more taxes every year. It's realistically, it's not going to happen. Sorry.
First and foremost, we need to know what the taxpayers want. Taxpayers are only interested in ice rinks, to use that example, and we don't have one. We don't want to be members. It's plain and simple. It's pretty straightforward. We need to find out what the community wants. We need to be actively involved with the community. We need to do some form of reaching out to them, whether it is surveys or having open days for people coming with Q&As, whatever it is. We need to learn what the community's needs are. We can't do anything else to make them members. Second, I really think it's important that we improve what we have before we add. Obviously, we're going to grow and we need to add infrastructure here. That's a given. But if people don't like the product they're seeing right now, they're not going to like the new product anymore. They're not going to be more excited about the new product. They don't like the one that's out right now. This needs to be something people want before we expand. I think those are key.
Yeah, I think you're right about some of those things, Todd. We have to, I think, to engage taxpayers to get involved. We need to advertise our programs. We need to do it through social media, and I think we can do it through those two local papers that we have. They seem to be willing to offer time to the towns to advertise some of their projects, and that I think we can use it for. We get people. Once you right about one thing, everybody's not going to get involved in it. They're not. They don't have time for it. People working from daylight till dark. It's hard. But there are a lot of people who would take advantage of things they knew about them. So I think that advertising through social media and through papers, things like that. I think that will help us to meet more people get involved.
I believe taxpayers are actively involved right now. All new elections in all three cities are part of the district now. It's almost a must that they do that when they apply for application. Like Lynn said, social media and just awareness of taxpayers know what's happening in the district and the board and what their ideas are and what they discuss should be transparent and what it.
I think word of mouth is very important. I think if you like this place, you're going to tell them. If you don't like this place, you're going to tell them. So I think it's very important that services that we offer the people we need. Because I believe word of mouth can really be faster than meetings. Because that's great. All we have to offer is things that are good. We have to put our best foot forward. If we don't, we're not going to, whether you use social media, the newspaper, telephone, if people are not saying good things about you, you're not going to do it.
I'm a taxpayer. I'm a member. I like to work out. My previous job, I had to fight from home. Okay. To do that, I'm getting older, so the bad guys are getting younger. I got to. That's what I joined. For someone to have to pay taxes, to be a member of those taxes, you kind of got to give up something. My previous employer, I had to show proof that I was working out quite a bit besides muscle growth. I had to show black and white proof. I provided that black and white proof. I got that with Dutch law insurance. I don't know if it's possible. Don't know. We can find out. That's one way to give something else back there. You be a member, you show your proof. Because we're all insurance payers, we're all taxpayers. That's one way.
So as far as taxpayers becoming members, and I'll just take the perspective of being members here at the facility, for example, I know that for my family, it took us a little while to save up some money because you have to put it all down at once as one annual membership. So I think maybe one thing we can look at is that structure with fees, for example. I know that most folks, according to surveys that were sent out, agree that fees seem reasonable, but maybe doing it to where you can have it kind of like on a monthly basis where, hey, you're getting a membership, but it's being deducted in part each month instead of here's the lump sum you need to put down. Because I understand it's hard, especially if you have large families that want to be able to do that. And secondly, as has been mentioned, being able to show people what are the benefits of actually coming down and taking care of the facility and giving them sort of that cost analysis, if you will, to use that term, and say, well, how much do you normally spend a month on X, Y, and Z? Well, why not spend it over here and actually get something profitable out of it? And I think the idea of having like a meet your boards, meet the districts, kind of a meeting day is a great way to help people understand the benefits they can accomplish in the district.
I would agree. I feel the very base of any decision that a member would make as a taxpayer is what's the value in it? What's the value to each individual family? It's going to be different for everyone across our three communities. I think I already see such a diverse selection for all of those communities to enjoy and to benefit from. We just certainly need to advocate for those programs as we already are and start to work with our communities individually, sort of in a sense work as an ambassador for those programs, let them know that they're available to them and find out what other additional programs they'd like to have. That way we can expand that diversity and make sure that every individual family feels value in being not only a member here, but being connected to this community. This is a special district, and I think it's important for everyone to understand that while there are three communities as one district, we speak on behalf of everyone, and it's important for everyone to feel valued.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for your interest. We really appreciate it. Last thing we're going to do is just a 1-minute closing statement. And we're going to go ahead and start with you, Rusty, and then we'll go through. Or no, Rusty, you went, so I'm sorry with Todd.
First, Ross, Elizabeth, and Chris, and everyone else who put this together, thank you. Candidates, thank you for wanting to be a part of this. I know I'm really grateful for the opportunity to help out for my daughter, for my community, and I'm sure you all are too. I appreciate you guys putting this together. As far as why I would be a good candidate, sorry, I'm already a candidate. As far as I thought it would be a good part for this board, I grew up in an area and actually moved back to and just moved here from an area called Naperville, Illinois. It is one of the top park districts in the nation, period, hands down. Their facilities are phenomenal. The soccer program does like 10,000 kids each year alone. You got to sign up the first 3 days, you don't get in. And I have a lot of friends there. And I think that is an excellent resource for me to tap into to get ideas, help. And I think that's an awesome resource. Second, just new perspective. We have some great members on this board, some great people, and they bring a very important perspective to this board, but we need somebody representing the young families. We need some people representing the young families and people that are new to this area too. I represent both of those. And to be on this board, I will be able to provide that perspective. So, thank you.
Okay, well, having served on the board for the last 2 years, I've learned that, a number of things. First of all, we have to look at what the district needs now, not just what the district needs now. We have to figure out what the district is going to need. We don't, I don't know about you, most of us don't go to the grocery store every day. You know, we try to plan it out. If we don't, what happens? We end up spending a lot more money. So our district needs to know what we need now, but what are we going to need in the next 5 years, or the next 10 years, or the next 15 years, and plan along that line, or else we won't be able to furnish the programs and the services that the community is going to want. And then we have to work together as a team. No individual member on the board has any authority on their own. The only authority we have is to get together as a team and talk things out. And each person contributes. And then we come and make decisions. So we have to work as a team.
I will represent the city of Tacoma and residents to the best of my ability. I believe the recreation district will be very successful in coming years with experienced leadership and an emphasis on standards of children. Thank you, and thank you for coming.
I would like to thank all of you and the Cardinal Valley Rec Center for having me here. I would like to position because I believe that working in this community, and I don't look at this as three communities. To me, the Cardinal Valley Rec Center is one, and we need to be one. We need to be team members and be able to accomplish that. So whether you're from Tacoma, Firestone, or Frederick, it doesn't matter. What matters to me is what we can do for our community.
Again, thank you all for coming out. Thank you for current employees for putting this on. Closing thoughts, again, I said security. We all talk about growth, we talk about trying to figure out what the community wants. And security. To find out what about a family you talk to today. We already have employees here. People talk to them. I don't know what word, complain to them about what we do and do not have here. We can elicit that information from our current employees here already. That's one good avenue. I forget to mention earlier. I've had really great experiences with myself. My family, my wife goes here. Gymnastics. I like it. So I invest in practices, but I can't just see it.
So in closing, was very appreciative of all coming as well. If you talk to anybody that knows me and has known me for a while, they'll tell you that I'm very overly analytical, sometimes to a fault. So, but that's a good thing. So I'm going to turn this around, okay, and frame it this way, in the sense that when there are the issues and things that come up, I'll be diving into all those details because I want to be able to understand how it works so I can then explain that to you. It's all about the communication. If I can't explain it to someone that has no idea what the board or rec district does, then I need to go back and keep doing my homework so I can explain that. Through my experience at work, meeting with individuals across all spectrums and different professions, and also through my military experience, I understand the value of that teamwork, being able to take different ideas from everyone and building a collaborative solution to problems. So with that being said, I will advocate for you, I'll listen to you. I've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, as they say, and that's for a reason. Okay, so I'll listen and do my best to serve you to the best of my abilities.
I would agree with David in that teamwork is one of the most important components of being a part of a board of directors. I think not only representing the people of your community as people representing each other, and it's important to work well as a team. There are 3 factors in my own individual life that I feel like make me a qualified candidate in order to do that. I own a marketing company. I'm comfortable with marketing. It's something I deal with every day in day-to-day life. I have an extensive background in nonprofit management. It's something that I've been able to balance budget for them. I've been able to write grants and pull together capital campaigns. Most importantly to me, my family. We live in the Carbon Valley. We enjoy everything the Carbon Valley has to offer to us. I am a committed community member, someone who's willing and interested in being a part of every decision made. Someone that's not willing to just be a seat, but someone who's willing to be an ambassador for all decisions of my community as well.
I would also like to thank everybody for attending tonight. I am an active member of the community. I keep up on Frederick's agendas. Every board meeting, I get a notification. I'll sit down and I'll actually read through the agenda. There's times that the board doesn't like to hear my opinion, but it's part of being an active member of the community. I'm active throughout all 3 towns with my business. Half of my time is spent talking to people and interacting with them. And I feel that it's more important to take information in from yourself rather than having information given to you by staff members and proposals given to you from staff members. Know what your communities are doing. Know what the board members in nearby towns are doing, and know the history of what those towns have done in the past, because history is key. Just because they say now that this is their plan. Last year it was something completely different. It can change again. So, thank you.
All right, thank you all so much for coming. Let's give our candidates a round of applause. So make sure to vote for 1 for each open seat. Remember, it doesn't have to be just the city that you live in. It's for the 5 open seats. You can cast 5 votes. So thank you so much for coming, and hope everybody has a great drive.
Good job.